Ladies and gentlemen, joining me on the line, she is from People Magazine, the senior editor of Crime. That's just scary. Alicia Dennis is on the line. Hey, good morning. How are you?
I'm good. Yes, you should be very afraid. Very afraid.
At what point did they go, you're going to be our senior editor of Crime? And was there ominous music when you had that job offer, or what happened?
Yeah. Whenever I walk into the room, it's like, dun, 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 there I am. I worked at People Magazine for a lot of years in all the different sections. From celebrity interviews, music, movies. I covered a bunch of festivals, like film festivals and things like this. And there was an opening in the crime section, and I'd also worked within the crime section because, we're telling stories in all the places that stories get told. And so I found this a very intriguing, prospect to take over that team. And since then, it's just been so many different ways we're telling those stories. It's not only in the magazine, it's also online. We have this show that's now in our 6th season where we're telling these stories on television, in video. And it's remarkable, I think, the way that people embrace the telling of these kinds of cases.
That's kind of where I want to start with this because People Magazine investigates, this is 4th season, correct?
This is our 6th season.
6th season. I'm sorry, I don't know what's wrong with me.
That's okay. It's like they're letting us have 6 seasons. It's really exciting.
I don't know why I went with 4. I have it in front of me. But anyways, what do you think the draw is to the true crime genre that's out there right now? People seem to dig in and really like to hear about these crimes that happen.
I know. And so you wonder if it's like a morbid fascination or what's going on. But here's what I think. You can tell me what you think. Tell me if I'm right or if I'm off on this. Okay. One reason I think that people watch is because they want to see if they can solve it. They want to sit there and go, oh, I know who did it. I know from the beginning who did it. I know I'm seeing this clue and I'm Monday morning quarterbacking it and I know this case, right? So I think there's some people that are doing it because of that. Like they think they're like armchair detectives.
Yeah.
They're figuring that. I think there's another thing that happens where you're escaping your own life into other people's lives. And, you may be having some trouble in your life. Maybe your washing machine broke and there's water running down the hall. And you watch this and you realize that your life's not so bad, that somebody else is having a worse experience, right? Like you immerse yourself into this other tale of something that's not happening to you.
It's not that bad. It could be worse.
Right, it's not that bad. And then I also wonder, this is the other part, that we all sit around and we wonder, do we know our neighbor? Do we know the guy who lives down the street really well? Do we know our spouse, our boyfriend, our girlfriend, our husband, our wife? Do we really know them? And you're watching and you're like, wow, these people didn't. They didn't know. They didn't know who that really was. So what do you think?
If I was to go, I would probably lean towards people want to solve the mystery or they don't know who their person. Those are the two big ones I think it would be. Although, you know what, the second one, I imagine there are people out there that, you know what, there wasn't murder in my life today. It's not that bad.
Yeah, maybe.
That's interesting.
But it really is interesting how so many people there's so much true crime and so many people so fascinated by it.
All right, so we have the 6th season of People Magazine Investigates coming out. It's actually coming out later on, or since it's streaming, it should be out now, right?
Well, our premiere launched June 6th, and then after it's on, you can then stream it.
Okay.
So if you go to Discovery Plus, you can stream all our other seasons, like 1 through 5. And then every Monday after a new episode drops, you can stream it.
Okay, so it looks like 8 o'clock Central for us here in Iowa.
That's right.
What are we covering this season on the show? Because, and I've asked this question to a few other true crime folks before, it's how do you come up with your list of season? Because you're walking that line of entertainment and kind of darkness in this type of stuff. How do you figure out what's coming up on the show?
You're totally right. We are walking that line. And so what we're trying to do is we put a season together as we're trying to look at the cases where we have access and interviews with the people connected to that case.
Okay.
And that those interviews are in depth and they're not just, people answering questions on the surface, that they're being willing to tell us in detail what the experience of that case was. So that's one of the things that we have to look at. And then we also have to look at bringing a different, kind of case. We can't have the same types of cases in every single episode. So we have some cases that are mysteries where maybe you can help us solve them and bring a killer to justice. Maybe something that you watch is going to remind you of something that you didn't know or that you forgot, or some clue, or, some way to help us with that. Then we also have ones that are solved. And so those are adjudicated. Somebody has been arrested. Those are cases where we're just kind of taking you through that experience and what occurred. We also have some social justice kind of scenarios, like a situation where police really believed that they had the right person for this horrific murder. And for 23 years, this person who was incarcerated for it was begging for people to listen that he was not the killer. And he wasn't. And so that's another one of those things that what kind of waking nightmare would that be, where you're sitting around believing in the justice system and you actually are innocent and you're in jail for all this time, So what we do is we look at a lot of different things and try to figure out what is going to make the most satisfying overall season.
That's interesting, because if you think about it, I mean, there's a lot more crimes out there than murder, or, the ones that kind of come up to, to the top of the mind. There's not like a cutoff where it's like, oh, that was only petty theft, we're not going to do that. Or
it's funny because we cover all crimes at People. Not all crimes, we couldn't possibly do that. But what I mean is, we're at people.com, we're a 24/7 news site. And so our reporters are constantly, looking at things that are happening across the board. But when it comes to the show, there's a lot of different reporters, trying to let us know whether they think those are going to make compelling television or not. And that's a different thing.
It's got to be hard, right?
Yeah, it's hard. And I think that also what's important is a lot of times the people connected to these cases really want to talk about them.
Yeah.
And they really want to share that. And for them, that's either a healing experience, or it's honoring their loved one that they lost, or it's highlighting a cold case that they believe can be solved. And we have a case, like that this season. It's one that runs on July 25th. It's called Justice for Joy. And it's this case where this family, Charlie and Joy Hibbs, are, living kind of, the normal American dream in Croydon, Pennsylvania with their kids. One day, one of the kids comes home from school and the house is on fire.
Oh, wow.
And what looks like maybe an accidental fire turns out to be a murder scene. It has taken nearly 40 years for this to be solved. And this particular case is one that the work that we did in it has led to an arrest, according to authorities. So, it's
well, that's got to be rewarding,
it's hard
right?
work, but yes, it's important. It's important work. It's hard, but it's important.
Alicia Dennis from People Magazine Investigates. I did not want to get it wrong, so that's why I looked. I already mixed up the season, so you can find out.
Good.
Well, listen, I don't want to be on the show at some point for some reason. You can find out more at investigationdiscovery.com. New season premieres tonight. If people are going to go back and watch one of the episodes from one of the 5 prior season just to get ready for tonight.
Oh, wow. That's a really good question.
That would really...
You're trying to stump me.
No, I'm not trying to stump you. I just always think it's interesting because everybody's like, oh, they're all my favorite. Well, they can't all be your favorite, but there might be one that goes, you know what, this one will give you exactly what this show is all about. Which one would you tell them to go watch?
Well, I think that the Long Island serial killer, which I think might have been season 1, is a fascinating case with a lot of twists and turns and a lot of different victims, families that we talked to, as well as the Golden State Killer is another one that was just chilling, where this person would randomly break into people's houses and, tie up someone and put
awful.
plates on them so if they moved, you would be able to hear it. It was really chilling. And then there's this other case, What Happened to Baby Lisa, which is a fascinating kind of exploration into a child just disappearing from their crib. And you're kind of wondering, like, are the parents involved? Are they not involved? Like, what happened there? And I think listening to law enforcement talk about that too is really an interesting.
I don't know if I can watch it. I've got a 4-month at home right now.
Oh, no. Yeah, it's really hard as a parent to watch some of these things. And I know that my kids are all like, man, you won't even let me walk to the grocery store by myself now. I'm like, yeah, sorry. It's just part of my job. You can't do that anymore.
Yeah, not happening.
But I think not happening. But I just feel like also there's the way these families, when they talk to us, kind of express the things that are most important to them, that there is some connection that we have as parents to them in that way, and we feel like some support and care about them when we watch their stories.
Alicia Dennis from People Magazine Investigates. She is the People Magazine senior editor of crime. You can find out more at investigationdiscovery.com. Alicia, we'll let you get going. Thank you so much for the time, and good luck with all this, okay?
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it, and thanks for watching.